All right. Our next caller is Stefan. Stefan, welcome to Stay Paid. How you doing?
Very glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you on the show. Welcome to Stay Paid. What question can we help you with? What challenge are you facing in the business? How can we help you grow?
Yeah, sounds good. So I am going into my third year as an agent, selling real estate, buying and selling, and I am essentially reaching the end of my rope of savings. I am coming up on a breakthrough. I've got my stats here, so I'll share those with you as well. Um, but the thing is, I'm looking for ideas on how to stretch my budget, stretch my finances, so that I can stay in the business. Um, what are some methods that I can employ now in order to prevent myself from um, losing out on all of my savings and bridging the gap, because I can tell that the business is going to take a turn here very shortly. Um, so last year I did 2.9 million, 7 units.
Wow.
In this year,
Okay.
I've done 2.6 million so far with 9 units, and I have 1.5 million pending, 1 million currently listed. I've had 6 listing appointments in the last 8 weeks and 2 active buyers. So I've got this business on the
Wow. Okay.
horizon, but I'm reaching the end of my savings, and it's not. I don't have any closings coming up that's going to bridge that gap. I'm a man of faith, and
Okay.
I am a huge Ramsey fan, so I'm anti-debt. I don't have credit cards,
Yep.
and I'm setting a
Okay.
boundary around my investments. So it's like I don't want to touch my investments. I don't want to do debt, but I'm coming down to the end. And what would you guys suggest?
Yeah. Great question. And love it. I mean, you are doing well. It's just not quite where you need to be. What is the goal? Like, where do you need to be in order for it to work financially for you? What's the GCI goal or the unit goal? Have you mapped that out?
I've set goals for myself for next year to do 16 to 24 units, to do say 6 to 8, maybe 10 million in in total sales volume.
Okay. That's a big range though, 16 to 24 and 6 to 10 million. But what do you need? Maybe shrink it down a little bit. And maybe this is the advice, for you. Like, obviously you're coming to the end of your savings. What's the burn rate? Meaning, like, how many more months do you have before you have to get a job in terms of money?
We're probably looking at 1 month.
Okay, 1 month. Okay. So limited amount of time. And obviously real estate, unfortunately, usually takes a little bit of time in terms of contract to close and stuff like that. But you said you have a million in listings on the market,
Yep,
correct?
1 million currently listed, 1.5 currently pending.
Okay, 1.5. Will that 1.5 come through to give you more run rate?
I won't see either of those close until January.
Okay, till January. Okay, so you're a little bit limited. So you're in a little bit of a pickle. Okay, so then if you really need how much money do you need in order to actually continue in the business? Have you done that math? How much money you need to make it to where you can continue going? Because it really does feel like, okay, you're going to make it. I know you are a Dave Ramsey fan, which I respect, and I love that. And you don't want to put, like, in essence, you don't want to put on credit cards to help you get to that next place. But how much money do you need in order to keep going so you can get that 1 million, or 1.5 million in January?
Right. I probably need about $5,000 to keep everything afloat.
Okay. $5,000 to keep everything afloat. Okay. Because, I want to obviously give you the best advice I can for you. You're in a tough place because it does feel like you're doing well. And it feels like, in a way, it's unfortunate because it feels like, oh man, you've come to us a little bit too late. I wish you would have come to me 90 days ago. Because, my advice to you is essentially how you, if you look at a business, right? Business is essentially math. And you've got to get down to the math of the business and go, okay, I need to get listings. Where have I got my listings from? Listings come from these certain pillars. Well, how do I get listings out of these pillars? I have to do this certain activity. Okay, this activity then translates to these daily routines and these daily habits. I don't know what your daily routines or daily habits are. You have a month left. It is still very possible for you to do a deal, within the month. But it's like, if I'm you, man, are you spending at least 4 hours on the phone every single day prospecting? Are you actually calling everybody in your sphere right now and asking them for referrals? Like, what's your level of activity and intensity in the activity to drive the results? That is really where you need to, that's what you can control. You can wake up today and you can control, like, how many people are you going to reach out to today to go and actually get, the next deal. That's really where I would focus. The problem that you're in, though, and this is where I'm like, is because even if you found the deal, it's probably still going to take 30 days to 45 days to close, and that's the commission thing. In terms of like here's, and I know this is not a Dave Ramsey fan, but if I'm you, you have the pipeline of deals, you have the pipeline where you have a proven track record. You've done 2 million in volume. I would find a way, whether it's do you have any family that would support you or any of that, or no?
Yeah, of course.
Because I know you don't want to go into debt, but I literally go, man, but you have it. It's right there, 1.5. I'm just not, I just don't want to, I don't want to make you go against your values, because that's never a good thing. But if it's me and I'm in your shoes, man, I would find a way to get the $5,000 either from a friend or family member to support me and pay them off in January and keep trucking in and out from January. I would literally, it's like Dave says, right? The borrower becomes a slave to the lender. So you do become a slave to that person in essence. But you have 1.5 million that's going to close in January. How much commission will you get from that after your splits?
That'll be probably around 30,000.
Yeah, exactly. So then that pays off the $5,000 that you needed to get to that point. And from now until January, now let's talk about what you can control today and go, dude, you have it. And I don't know all the nuances of your business, but to encourage you, you have it. Like you're doing it. You have 2 million in sales to show for it. You have 1.5 million closing. You have 1 million listed. You have it. You're just not probably, this is the theme of today's show. I just think the way you're running your day, you're not doing enough outreach. Like you're not having enough combos, and your results aren't coming in because this is a hard market. Like compared to Reminder Media, I'll give you two comparisons, Acre Brothers and Reminder Media. So Reminder Media, we used to be able to close a deal within like 9 calls. Now it's taking us like 18 to 20 calls to get that same deal. So it's like, oh, we've got to increase our activity twofold in order to get the same business that we were getting. Now you compare that to Acre Brothers to get a real estate agent's perspective. Tim Bushnell, our top producer on the team, did like 70 deals last year. He's trying to do 100 deals this year. He's saying, Luke, it's like this market is twice as hard. Like I'm having to work so much harder to try to get to these 100 deals because of just where the market's at. So I just think you're not like, what's your outreach to, every day? Like how much combos are you having a day in real estate?
I try to have at least 5 effective conversations a day, whether that be in person, Bible study, church, on the phone. I try and mix it up. I've had some early pains with expireds and for sale by owners. Not entirely discouraged yet, but 5 effective real estate conversations a day is what I aim for.
Okay. Yeah, that needs to be 20. How bad do you like, what's the why behind doing this? What's the why? Like, how bad do you want to be in real estate?
Well, I want to serve the Lord, and I want to expand His glory and His kingdom. And I know that being excellent and doing things with honor and integrity is going to accomplish that. And then also, I've got kids at home that need to eat. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great why. And I mean, that's literally similar to my why, brother. So I love it. So, okay, awesome. It's like whatever you do, do it as you're doing it unto the Lord with excellence, right? And so what you need to look at, and you have a great why in your kids. John Wetmore, this is kind of a brutal example, but I'm going to quote him. John Wetmore is a top producer in insurance. And if you listen to his podcast with us, like this guy crushed it in insurance, but he did not want to make the calls. He was an accountant before he became an insurance agent. He didn't want to make the calls. And you know what he would say to himself? He would give himself the example of his kids. He would say, if my kid got kidnapped today and I had to call, I forget the number, 200, 300 people, would I have any problem making those calls? And he goes, I make those calls every day. He's like, so I just had to put myself in a frame of mind that put me there, that said, hey, would you make the calls if your kid was abducted and you had to? Now that's a brutal analogy, but the point I'm making is going, hey man, you're having 5 conversations a day. And by the way you answered it, and I mean this so respectfully, I just want to affirm you, the way you answered, you're not really even hitting 5 every day. You have got to go, hey, if I want to be excellent in this and I want to build a career in this, am I willing to structure my day like if I was working for someone? Like if you work for me, my salespeople have to do 4 hours of phone time a day or 3 deals or 200 dials. If you don't hit one of those metrics, you're not on the team. Right. So that's someone who works for me. That's a W-2 employee. So if like you work for yourself, are you willing to at least give that to yourself? 4 hours of phone time a day or 200 dials or 3 closed deals. Real estate's different than Reminder Media. So I'm challenging you to go, hey, brother, I think you can do this. I think you're on a breakthrough. You have 30,000 closing in commission in January. I definitely don't think you should go against your values. So I don't know if you have friends, family, if you can even, Uber might be not able to generate the $5,000, but I know you can do this, but you got to put in more activity than what you're doing today. That's where my gut goes immediately. Does that resonate with you? Like, what are you feeling with that?
Of course, it's one of those things where I imagined that you'd say that. I've been listening long enough that if I'm not taking action, making the calls, and I mean, really just confronting the self-worthiness issue. It's like, of course, like I'm hearing like, oh, people don't want to hear from me. People don't want to be advertised to. Of course, I'm believing some of those negative, that negative thought. So hearing it directly from the horse's mouth is highly encouraging. I did think about, just like maybe selling some stuff, or if I did drive Uber, just have conversations with people, work in my car while I'm waiting for rides or something.
Yep.
Literally just hustle a little bit. But it's
go listen to Renee Burke's. Go listen to Renee Burke's episode. She, had a tough year last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
Had to drive Uber, and now she's in, I forget if it's called the President's Club at Remax. But she had to drive Uber and she was embarrassed by it and hated it, but came back.
Gave a ride to their CTO.
Yeah, gave a ride to the CTO. It was really quite the story. She didn't realize it was the CTO. And then
of her company.
Yeah, of her company. And the CTO ended up telling the CEO, and the CEO called her just to encourage her. It wasn't a magic formula out, but just encourage her that, hey, you're the type of agent we want. So you're finding yourself in a similar place. The lies that you're experiencing of like the narrative, that is insanely normal. It never goes away. Even when you have success and money, it never goes away. Even me making calls, it's still the same feeling. I don't like rejection. I don't like making the calls, but my goal is bigger than my embarrassment. My goal is bigger than the pain of being rejected. And the way I try, everybody's got to find different coping mechanisms to play the game. There's a great book out there called Embracing the No. So you're not looking for a yes. You're looking for no's. Because if you get no's, then that leads you closer to the yes. And ultimately, you didn't have them to begin with. You have 0 deals right now, in essence, when you start calling. If you end the day with 0, you ended at net even. You didn't go down. You're net even, right? And so you got to figure out the tricks. Like Ethan, who's our CRO, and he's an incredible salesman. He likes to imagine it's just a video game. When he's in the calls, it's like it's just a video game. Like I'm playing a game here. And it's not real. It's like these people, I might never see them again. If they say no to me, it's not a defining of who I am. And this game is 98% rejection. Now, the key is, and we don't have time to get into all the details and nuance of it, but you seem and strike me as a guy that really should work off of relationship and work off of referrals like every agent. So the key is, how do you get that database big enough to where 7% of them move every year? So you need the database to be big enough, because you're probably not going to get all 7%. So if it's 100 people in your database, that's 7 deals moving a year. Well, you're not going to get all 7. So maybe you'll get 2 of the 7. So how do you get up to 1,000 people, right? And now all of a sudden you realize how you can start working by referral. We just quoted Garrett Maroon earlier to another caller. He's a great episode that you can listen to, where he has 300 people in his database, but they're real relationships. And so start with your activity of, how big's your database?
150.
150. So call them all today and ask them for referrals. Like, call them all today. And if that gives a sinking feeling in your gut, like, oh, I don't really want to do that, that's it, man. That's the difference between making it and not making it. That's the difference between top producers and mediocre producers. I feel that same feeling. I'm having to call all of our key relationships right now because one of our VPs of corporate sales left us. Maybe I'll do another podcast on it some other time, but heartbreaking. So he left us and all that stuff. So I'm having to call all our key relationships, because there's also he's trying to kind of steal those clients, but that's another thing. But, I hate making these calls. Like, I don't want to make these calls and tell my clients, oh, I lost this person, and I just want to tell you I appreciate you, and I want to make sure we keep your business, all this stuff. But I'm making them. But I'm making the calls because that's the difference. Like, the difference is I'm going to do it anyways, and I'm going to fumble my way through it because I don't know the perfect way to do this pitch to these people, to present to them the value, but I'm going to do it because I know that's the difference. That's what you need. The encouragement is, man, dude, you can do this. You're already doing it. You're just not doing enough of it because your day is too unstructured. You need to be really structured in your day, 4 hours of prospecting time, set a goal for 20 conversations, set a goal for at least 1 appointment a day, start with your sphere of 150. Then if you don't have a lot of money, right? You don't have a lot of money right now, start circle prospecting. Are you running any open houses for other agents in your brokerage?
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. We run open houses every weekend, man, because open houses will be the closest to getting a deal real fast. Because imagine someone walks in and they want to buy that house, and you can represent them because they're unrepresented. And you're a man of faith, right? Don't worry about what tomorrow will bring. God will take care of that. He will provide for you. He just wants you to lean on him in all your ways, acknowledge him, and put in the work. Do whatever you do it as if you're doing it unto the Lord with excellence. And if you do that, I believe you will make it. But right now you're in a little bit of paralysis by analysis. That's my take.
Yeah. Yeah. You summed it up very well.
Yep.
And I think that's where I know that the breakthrough is coming, because I'm finally getting past that. It hasn't been a necessity yet. It hasn't gotten to a point where I have to. So now that the savings are at the end, it's like, well, either I do this or I don't.
Yeah. 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 And don't give in, man. Don't give in. You can sell something for the $5,000. You can find the $5,000. You can do this. Now ask yourself, do you really want to be in real estate? That's another question altogether. How do you define success? Because that matters, right? Because success is defined differently for people. You seem to have a good take on it. Define success for yourself, but realize, be real with yourself. You're not putting in the level of work with intensity that you need to. And that is so normal. And we all face that. And so, like today, I would ask you, what time is it where you're at today? Are you East Coast?
Yeah, I'm on the East.
Okay, so it's 11:55 right now, right, as we're talking.
Yep.
What time did you wake up this morning?
5 a.m.
What did you read when you woke up? Like, perfect, right? And then what have you done since then to 12 o'clock to move your business? And you got to get really intentional. The best athletes, they care about the small little details, the small nuances, and get your head in the game. And the best way to do that is get an accountability partner, man. Get an accountability partner. I just want to come through the riverside right now and give you a hug and say, let's go, baby. Come on. Get on that phone today. Make those calls. There you go. Exactly. He's holding out his hands, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a riverside hug. But no, I appreciate you calling in. Connect with me on social, man. I want to hear how you're doing and try to encourage you. But you're not doing, there's a lot of people doing worse than you are doing. You're doing good. You just got to up the intensity. Up this intensity, brother. You've got it.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much.